GCSE French writing exam. Here are some tips to help you with
common errors to avoid in the GCSE French writing exams. In this video, we're going to go through the main errors that students make in their GCSE French writing exams that reduce their marks the most. These are mainly tense related, but also spelling related and things that hinder clarity and hinder communication. Make a note of the tips and participate in the quizzes as you go along to make the most difference to your marks, and make sure to avoid these errors in the future. So this is a pretty major error to avoid, and that's the verbs that don't match the subject or the person or the thing that you're talking about. So in this case, les avantages, advantages, it says les avantages est, les vacances est, the holidays is, the advantages is. Obviously that doesn't make sense in English. You want to say the advantages are, the holidays are. Make sure that the verb matches. Okay, quick quiz to test your knowledge on verbs matching the people. Participate as the slide comes up. Answers will follow. Pick 1, 2 or 3, say aloud or write down now. Hopefully you said number 3 because il and vont, they do match together, whereas il and the other ones don't. Allons goes with something else and va goes with something else. To avoid this error, make sure that you proofread your writing, check who's doing the action and then choose the right verb ending. If tenses or verbs are a problem, check out my playlist with tenses grammar revision above. The past tense causes students a lot of issues. If you are making these kind of errors, keep watching to help you to improve. Make sure to say your answer aloud or write down on the next slide as soon as it comes up. Hopefully you said number 3 because the first one uses avoir as the auxiliary verb, the second one doesn't have an auxiliary verb, and the number 3 has the agreement with the aller to match the elle because it's a Dr. Mrs. Van der Trump verb. Final quiz on the perfect tense. Make sure to answer aloud immediately or write down your answer as quickly as possible. Correct answer is number 2. Did you say that? If not, this is something you definitely need to revise. The perfect tense has 3 parts: the subject, the auxiliary verb avoir or être, and the past participle. Want to avoid the perfect tense issues in the future? If it's a problem for you, check out my perfect tense revision video above, and that will help with Dr. Mrs. Van der Trump verbs as well as the formation of this past tense. The third mistake to avoid is issues with adjective agreements. Is the correct answer 1, 2 or 3? Write down or say aloud now. Did you say number 1? This is correct because les vacances is feminine plural, and so the adjective needs to end in es in this instance. Number 4, make sure to avoid adding unnecessary subjects or additional subjects in your sentence. In this one, you've got ma mère j'adore le cinéma and mon frère j'aime. You can see you've got ma mère, which is my mom. I think you're trying to say here, my mom loves the cinema, but you've somehow added in the je to mean I. You're doing it because you've learned the phrase j'adore, but don't add it in if you've got another subject like your ma mère. Same in the mon frère j'aime. You're not trying to say my brother I like, you're trying to say my brother likes, so omit the je part. Another quiz to practice. Which is correct? Say aloud 1, 2 or 3 now. Did you say number 2? It's the only correct answer because you've got the accent of frère correct and you've also got no je. Spelling quiz coming up. 4 mistakes to avoid on the GCSE writing exam. Correctly spelling errors aloud right now. Answers incoming. Make sure to make a note now of the corrections. Mistakes to avoid for GCSE French writing number 6 is the imperfect versus the conditional. They're both tricky tenses and they have some similarities, which is why people potentially mix them up. How would you translate je jouais and je jouerai? Answer now. Hopefully for je jouais, you notice it was the imperfect tense and it translates as I played, I used to play, and I was playing. And je jouerai translates as I would play. For the conditional, you need to use the infinitive verb, so that's the verb that ends in er, ir, or re. If it's an re verb, take off the e and then add the endings that are the imperfect endings. If you want to revise the imperfect endings, check out my imperfect revision video and worksheet above. That will help you with the endings for both the imperfect and the conditional, but just for the conditional, remember you need to use the infinitive for most verbs, but there's also irregular verbs that you have to learn the stem of. So go and revise those if you're not sure how to conjugate the conditional tense. Number 7, tip to avoid is using infinitives incorrectly. On the next slide, have a go at correcting the sentences, all of which are wrong. Hopefully you notice that the second verb in each of the phrases should be an infinitive verb. Infinitive is the verb with er, ir, or re on the ending. So you can see that jouer ends in er, faire ends in re, and aller ends in er. Generally, if you've got two verbs in any other tense apart from the perfect tense, the second verb will be in the infinitive. And for this quiz, how would you correct these I am speaking and I am watching the TV? I see this quite a lot. It's more common like describing pictures, but sometimes people do put it into their writing with things that they're doing in the background, maybe at the moment. So like I'm reading a book, or he is waiting tables, or something like that. So if you want to say I am, or you are doing, or he is doing, or we are doing something, which is called the present continuous tense in English, then don't use je suis parle, which makes sense because you're trying to say I am speaking, I get that, but it would just be je parle. So je parle translates as I am speaking and I speak. Same with je suis regarde la télé, it's incorrect, that doesn't exist in French. Instead, to say I am watching the TV, you would just use the normal present tense, je regarde la télé. It has two translations. Je regarde la télé translates as I am watching the TV, but also I watch TV. And so to fix this error, if you're talking about things that you're doing now, perhaps now immediately or now in the background, don't use a form of être in your written work. Instead, just use a normal present tense because that translates as I am doing something, but also I do something. If this GCSE French writing video was useful to you, please like, subscribe and comment and share, and hope to see you for other videos soon.